fitness cabinet with a beautiful gym here. That's right. This is Jason Esty.
Are we about truth, health, and freedom?
Canadian Bill of Rights too. Here we go, my friends.
Jason Truth.
Hello, everybody. Of course, you are listening and watching Jason Truth. So welcome, my YouTube community everywhere. And of course, if you value my content, I really hope you subscribe, give me the like, hit that thumbs up. It helps with the algorithms, of course. And please feel free to share my videos. I love the engagement. I read your comments. Share my videos, please. And hit that bell icon so you can be notified for future videos, okay? So today we are going to discuss Justin Trudeau. Or Justin Trudeau. I usually call him Justin Castro. But we're going to talk about him, and you're going to see him and Pierre Poilievre asking questions in front of the Speaker of the House in Parliament on November 7th. And you're going to hear a lot. I'm going to give you a tip, my friends. You're going to hear a lot of the propaganda behind the whole global climate change. It comes from, as usual, Justin Castro. Justin Trudeau's own lips. Pure propaganda nonsense. And the carbon tax scam. This horrendous, absolutely evil, and really a slavery policy of carbon tax to charge you, the hardworking class out there in Canada, a carbon tax. In my powerful country, Canada, our country. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is absolutely grotesque. But we're going to get rid of it, everybody, and I'm going to show you how. We're going to discuss it. And Pierre Poilievre is on point with some really good questions with him and his caucus. So without further ado, here we go, my friends. Get ready to listen.
I have conversations with the Bloc Québécois leader, but I haven't had any recently. The last time we talked, the Bloc leader and we talked about the Middle East and Israel. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Prime Minister is desperate to save his carbon tax, especially on heat. And he started by giving a temporary pause to some people in a region where he was plummeting in the polls and his caucus was revolting. But then he found that the entire country was in revolt and he needed a new coalition partner to save him from my common sense confidence vote to take the heat off, to take the tax off the heat. He got that support from the Bloc Québécois. We now learn that he has been in discussions with the Bloc to help him stay in power for 2 years. What did he promise the separatists for them to enter into this costly carbon tax coalition?
Now, wasn't that a great question by Pierre Poilievre, everybody? And of course, as usual, he's very articulate. He's a brilliant man by and large. He understands finances, he understands the numbers, and he understands this carbon tax. Anybody with half a brain understands it's a complete scam. And we're going to talk more about that carbon tax in a moment. Poilievre's going to bring it up in the next clip that I'm going to show you. But isn't that a great question he just posed, everybody? It showed that Justin Trudeau, right? Him and his caucus, the Liberal Party, they're so desperate to be on this narrative of global climate change, and you'll hear him mention global climate change, Justin, a bunch of times like a broken record. It's unbelievable. But to maintain the carbon tax, they've got to maintain the global climate change narrative, and to maintain power, as Poilievre just brought up, now they have to con the separatists or pay them off, the Bloc. They got to try to get them to support the Liberals' egregious policy here, especially with carbon tax, because the only way Justin has maintained power, or the only way he can continue to maintain power, is because he's only got, 20 or 30% of the votes, if that, just like Joe Biden in the United States. So the only way is he would need, obviously, a lot of separatists to support him. It's so obvious. But the great news, everybody, it's not going to happen. We are not going to have Justin in power for 2 more years. And we know Poilievre and his caucus, they're itching to get Poilievre, obviously, as Prime Minister. Poilievre has been groomed to be the next Prime Minister. He's ready. And we got a lot of resistance in Canada. Many of you amazing Truth, Health, Freedom Warrior patriots out there, thank you so much for cherishing your human rights. We're going to get this clown, Justin Trudeau, removed from power very, very soon. Our voices are being heard. This is amazing. We got protests, as we know, all across Canada. Anyway, enough of that. Let's play the next clip, everybody. Please listen. Here we go.
Now he's thanking the separatists for helping him save his carbon tax and support his plan to quadruple the tax on heat, gas, and groceries. This Prime Minister is playing a very dangerous game. First, he divided Canadians by giving a temporary pause to some people in a region where he was plummeting in the polls and his caucus
exactly
was
right.
revolting. When all Canadians then revolted against this divisive plan, he's turned to the separatists who say that they are going to keep him in power for 2 years and that the leader of the bloc has had a call with the Prime Minister to do it. In the interest of transparency, will the Prime Minister reveal what he promised the separatists for them to join in this costly carbon tax coalition?
Right on, Polyev. Great question.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the level of divisiveness and the rhetoric of the leader of the opposition is truly unfortunate.
What a fool.
Mr. Speaker, the vast
Justin.
majority of Canadians, like the vast majority of members in this House of Commons, recognize that climate change is real.
Oh, here we go again.
We need to continue
Climate
to
change
step up
propaganda.
in the fight against climate change.
Oh
Not
my
just for the
God.
well-being of the
It's a
planet and
scam.
future generations, but for families' bottom lines, for families' jobs and careers as well. And we will continue to do that. As members of this party know, of the House of Commons know, I exchange regularly with leaders of different political parties. I haven't spoken recently.
Yeah, other leaders think you're a fool, Justin. They know who you are.
Middle East, but I'm always open to talking to any party leader that wants to talk about fighting climate change.
You shove that climate change right up your you-know-what. That is a complete scam. It's been proven. We're going to get into that in a while.
The Canadians, after 8 years of his government, cannot eat, heat, or house themselves. But in a strange way,
Exactly.
he united all Canadians at the Premier's Conference, who all agree, all 10 of them unanimously disagree that the Prime Minister's approach to take the tax off temporarily for only some. They said that this federal carbon tax policy treats Canadians differently and they expect a change. Will the Prime Minister pull together all the premiers in an emergency carbon tax conference so that we
Get rid of the carbon tax.
and keep the heat on?
Exactly. What nerve, this idiot Justin, to say, this fool, that we need to be carbon tax quadrupling. We're going to talk about it.
Measures we announced a couple of weeks ago help any Canadian everywhere across the country to get off home heating oil towards using a heat pump, which is
Really, a heat pump? You're such a sweetheart, Justin.
and better for our
Give me a
future.
break.
These are things that we've done right across the country. Only the Conservatives would think that taking serious action on climate
Oh my
change
God.
and
Climate
supporting
change.
Canadians right across the country with affordability measures would be divisive. Well, it is.
Look at the masked woman behind him, too.
Climate change is fake. But for
It is fake, Justin.
Conservative Party, we know that we can come together to fight climate change.
What a crook. What theater. What an actor. What a fool. Everything he said is nonsense, especially climate change.
Know that the only thing fake is this Prime Minister.
That's right. You tell him, Polyev. It's exactly right.
Today, the NDP flip-flopped on its flip-flop. First, they voted 16 times in favor of the carbon tax on home heat. Then they voted to quadruple the tax. Then yesterday, they panicked and flip-flopped and voted for my plan
Liberals.
to take the tax off home heating, admitting that they were wrong all along. And now today, they said that they're in favor of the tax on home heat by refusing my
Total
plan. So,
flip-flopping.
the Prime Minister tells us at 2:26 p.m. what is the NDP position
I love
on
it.
carbon tax right now?
You gotta love it, folks. You gotta love it. He'll mention climate change again. Speaker of the House just sort of made a joke. Greg Fergus.
Speaker, what is clear is that the Conservatives are all ready to try and divide Canadians one against the other in any possible way they can. When the reality is the only division around climate change is that Conservative politicians still doubt whether it's real or not, and certainly don't think we should be doing it.
It's not real.
However, everybody else across the country in all different parties knows that it's a real issue.
No, they all know it's not real,
Unlike the Conservatives that
but they all should be saying it's a scam.
hide from the reality of climate change.
We're going to get into the, I'm going to put myself on camera here, folks.
So you heard that. Just like I told you, did you hear? Justin Trudeau is repeating the narrative of global climate change again, this propaganda, pure propaganda, and he's repeating it like a broken record. And even if you thought global climate change, the way they say, is real, I mean, you don't do anything behind one reason, right? Because that's fake science. It allows the criminals to get away, and that's exactly what's happening. There was no talk of lowering pollution. Justin and the Liberals, they claim that they care for the environment. And I'll tell you a story right now, actually, everyone, and then we're going to get into the carbon tax big time and a little bit more on global climate change. Well, speaking of global climate change and the environment, Justin Trudeau came downtown in my steel town city of Hamilton right here a few months ago. I had a video actually go viral on TikTok. I think I've got almost 100,000 views on it. It was just a short video. I was actually talking in front of a police officer while Justin Trudeau was staying downtown in Hamilton. So one of the nights he was there, he went over to the bread bar. And this clown, Justin Trudeau, is apparently sitting down eating his meal while we had a protest out front, naturally. Those of us that, want to show our vitriol and get this, like millions of people, we want to get him out of office, right? And so anyway, Justin and his goons, they had his SUV running for hours in the back. The man that supposedly cares about global climate change and makes CO2 this terrible pollutant, right? And he cares so much about CO2, how much is getting released in the air. And he's got his SUV going on for hours. So the point is, of course, total hypocrisy from Justin Trudeau. Complete hypocrite. We know he's a prestigious liar as well. And just so many clowns in Parliament, everyone. And again, this is all the more reason why we need a powerful bottoms-up movement here in Canada and around the world. Whenever you have powerful, positive change in the world, it's not for voting for politicians, as Dr. Shiva will show you. It's about growing a bottoms-up movement. And I'm going to link in the description, everyone. Just a side note, I'm going to try to link Dr. Shiva's video. 6 years ago, he did a video on carbon tax. It's just a 12-minute video or 10 minutes, and it's amazing. And again, real quickly, everybody, please support Dr. Shiva. He started a global bottoms-up movement for truth, freedom, and health. And he's got a man with a PhD from MIT, 4 degrees. He invented the email system at 14 years old. He's the real deal, a very powerful innovator, an amazing, powerful educator and leader, my friends. And he's running for president of the United States, right next door to my powerful country, Canada. I'll link in the description, okay? And again, it's all for truth, freedom, and health, as he says. So, back to Justin Trudeau and this global climate change nonsense, right? He repeats it over and over again. And by the way, his exact quote, everybody, just to show you how outrageous it is, he's got so much conviction on this issue, you got to give him his due. I'm just half kidding there. But no, he says, we're saving Canada through carbon tax. That's the nonsense. And by the way, again, they don't talk about pollution. They don't mention that the Paris Accords, which anybody with half a brain understands factually, that the Paris Accords was a fraud. It was an international collusion of the global financial predators, as I describe, or so-called elites. And it was all in order to try to tax everybody. They want to tax everybody on the planet. This has been going on for almost from the beginning of time, as we know, especially in modern history. They want to tax, right? And to think that, again, everybody, why so many people like myself are exasperated and going after Justin Trudeau on these issues is we know we're in the worst economic times in Canada's history because of COVID-19, hysteria, fear porn, right? This communicable disease that nobody was dropping dead on the street, by the way, we know that. And yet, many businesses unfortunately complied with our corrupt government. They shut down. Some businesses stayed open to their credit, but many shut down. And yet, Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party, now they're trying to impose and are imposing a carbon tax. And, you know, again, reason, logic, common sense here, everybody. Show you how evil this is. I got a friend who owns a business. A very good friend. Louis, actually. He's owned Deja Vu clothing store for 40 years. And we're sitting in his home one day. We're talking about the carbon tax. He knew it was a scam. He shows me his carbon tax bill. And he says, for Christ's sake, if I don't heat up my home, I freeze to death. And that means you and I, especially people that own a house, right? I mean, come on. And yet Justin Trudeau doesn't give a damn. Right, everyone? So thankfully, Poilievre, and we know that Poilievre, again, he's been groomed. We're going to make sure he's the next prime minister. We're also going to grow a bottoms-up movement with your help, everybody. I know we can do it. And we're going to keep Poilievre very honest, okay? They needed Justin Trudeau and Biden, I would argue the elites did, to pull off all this bullshit. But enough is enough. And Poilievre has to keep his promise, and we're going to make sure that he keeps his promise of eliminating this carbon tax scam. And by the way, again, the Paris Accords, everybody, it was an international collusion, as I said, everywhere, to tax everybody, okay? And again, they don't talk, the Paris Accords, this global climate change, it allows companies to pollute more. I'll give you an example. Many of you may already know this. China, where, you know, they polluted, 11 billion tons per year. But now, between now and 2030, yeah, 2030, they get to pollute another 11 or 11.5 billion tons of carbon in the atmosphere. And India gets to double their pollution. So it's a complete racket, everybody, right? And the carbon tax and carbon tax credits is a scam. But we're going to do future videos. I'm going to tell you why the elites are so hell-bent on carbon taxing people, everyone. And again, profit, greed, and control. The elites have a massive, massive payday potentially coming in 2030 if they could continue with the carbon tax. And we'll get into it. It all has to do with selling commodities on the global markets. China and many other countries are going to have a massive payday where they could generate not just billions of dollars, but as Dr. Shiva shows you, trillions of dollars, okay? But we just can't allow it to happen, everybody. And we certainly want to eliminate carbon tax right here in my powerful country, Canada. And we will set, therefore, an amazing legacy for other countries. Show, again, that we're a model for other countries, that we can eliminate this carbon tax even after being implemented. And that's exactly what we'll do with all of your help, everyone. And we got to give credit to Poilievre right now and his party for taking a stand against this absolute slavery system. And again, everybody, the carbon tax here in Canada, by the way, real quick, you know, back in 2006, I believe it was at, I think it was $50 per ton. Then it went to $65 per ton for carbon tax. And now they want to, by 2030, they want to go to $130 per ton. And like Poilievre said, everybody, Justin Trudeau, this clown, has actually quadrupled the carbon tax places in Canada. I'll give you a quick example. I just came back from New Brunswick not too long ago, about a month ago with my family. We have a beautiful place. We got 20 acres. You know, it's God's country in New Brunswick. The people are amazing in general over there. You got hardworking farmers, as we know. And we know yet it's a poor province, right, everyone? And yet Justin had the audacity, him and his party, to double the carbon tax. I think it may be even triple carbon tax now in New Brunswick. If not at least double carbon tax. And was it Nova Scotia or one other province here in Canada? Again, they've quadrupled the carbon tax. I mean, this is absolutely outrageous, and it's pure evil. It's pure slavery. Enough is enough. I hope I made my point clear. I hope you guys agree with me and gals. And if you don't, either way, leave me a comment and I'll read it. Okay, everyone? So, you know, enough is enough. And what else did I want to say? Well, we could talk for hours on carbon tax. Again, Dr. Shiva did an amazing 10 to 12 minute video on carbon tax back in 2006, and he still shows that video, everyone. I highly recommend it. You'll really get a grasp more of the carbon tax scam and the global climate change nonsense. And finally, everyone, another point. We'll show future clips another time in front of Parliament on different dates where I heard Justin Trudeau, he briefly brings up forest fires, the horrendous fires we had in Canada, particularly this summer, and he equates the global climate change. I mean, again, reason, logic, common sense, and any scientist with any ounce of integrity knows that that is complete fake science. You can't have global climate change suddenly causing these longer, more powerful fires. No, the government is profiting from the forest fires. And Dr. Shiva shows you that as well, everyone. And we'll get into that in future videos. It's all theater. And why? Why does the government have this narrative? And why did they allow all these forest fires to take place? I mean, arsonists should be jailed, as many intelligent people have said, and Dr. Shiva's brought up. They should be jailed, for life sentence or have a death penalty, and that would shut down the arsonists. And there's many other things the government should have done, but they didn't do it because they have every incentive to keep the forest fires raging in the summertime, everyone, because they're profiting from it. Yes, I know, it's pure evil, okay? And because the forest fires, again, it's all theater for the narrative of global climate change. As an example, the Liberal Party, they're trying to convince some of the brainwashed people that are out there that watch a lot of TV and just buying the government's, propaganda. They want to convince those people that, oh my God, the forest fires, it must be global climate change. I mean, the government keeps going on about global climate change. So you know what? I'll be happy to pay the carbon tax. Right, everyone? See, you get my point? That's exactly what's happening. Anyway, I hope I made my point. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you so much for caring about our country and countries around the world and our precious children, of course, and protecting them. Thank you for caring and trying to protect our environment. And so we can have our precious children, of course, grow up in a beautiful life and beautiful ecosystem. But let me tell you something, everybody. Let's show our children that Justin Trudeau is an absolute liar and hypocrite. And all these elites that are behind the global climate change, all these fake scientists that are behind the global climate change, they should be ashamed of themselves. And by the way, everyone, anybody who writes up about global climate change, as Dr. Shiva will tell you, they all get paid. They all get paid to go on the narrative, or they get funding for global climate change. You follow me, everyone? So it's complete fake science, the way they say that global climate change is. And finally, everyone, about CO2, as Dr. Shiva keeps telling you, it's always about, well, how much? How much CO2? And by the way, in the ICC report, and very few people read that report, that's a couple thousand pages, but it literally has 127 different models. It's like, Dr. Shiva says, it's like 127 Baskin-Robbins flavors. One model says, the scientists will say, well, the ice will melt by 2050, scientists say. Another scientist will say, no, the ice is not going to melt. And it goes on and on and on. And that is fake science when you have all these different models. They go by scientific consensus, right? Evidence is repeatable experiments, repeatable evidence. I think I'm saying that right. But anyway, so there you go, everyone. Again, this whole global climate change is it's all for profit, greed, and control for a very small group, as I describe, of global financial predators out there. All right, that's all it is. And we can eliminate all this. We can destroy the swarm, as Dr. Shiva says, and we will destroy the establishment. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you think I have value to share with humanity, this is Jason Truth here. Please share this video. Get it out to as many people as you can. And we're going to do future videos, hopefully more on Justin Trudeau. And hopefully with all the good talk and convictions of Pierre Poilievre as well, who again has been groomed as the next prime minister, and we'll make sure he does a way better job than Justin Trudeau ever did. And we're going to make Justin Trudeau be held accountable very soon, and we're demanding justice, and from his Liberal Party. Thank you, everyone. Take care. And we're going to end this corruption, in other words, once and for all with your help. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Hope you subscribe to my channel. Hope you give me that thumbs up. Hope you hit the bell icon to be notified for future videos, and feel free to leave a comment, as I said earlier. Thank you so much, everyone. It's great to be with you. Bye-bye.